Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 19th of February, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the dollar index. On the daily chart, we are still in this predominantly sideways range. We have touched new lows, but this is a case of will we see a lurch down quite quickly? And the key thing is, if we look at the short-term chart, we can see how we're seesawing, and it will be a new low that then creates that pressure towards the target. So for the moment, the dollar is steady. If we look at sterling, that's been in the news quite a lot lately with inflation numbers and employment numbers in the UK. And we do see here on the 60-minute chart how this target was given last week, and that's nearly been met this week, testing previous lows here. Short term bearish below the cloud, medium term we are in this big sideways range, which is roughly between 130 and 138, so really quite key that we're seeing that. Looking at other currencies, we have seen real strength in some things like South African rand. Remember, this is the dollar rand chart, so as the US dollar versus the rand. So the US dollar is buying progressively fewer rand, around 15. And if we look at the Aussie dollar, that's been a very strong performer against the US currency as well. And it has also been a strong performer against UK currency too. So we're seeing here how we've just really hit that target that was given back in July. These targets can take longer, but the key point is we use a slope here. In this case, it's 5, but it just took longer. But at least we can see that target has been met. We're now testing previous support levels. Bitcoin. This, of course, has been a question as to whether we're going to activate this upside target. The downside target is still hanging over the price there for Bitcoin, so that's really quite key. And again, we look at the 60-minute chart. We're below the cloud with downside targets. It's not looking like a recovery anytime soon. The Nasdaq had a better day yesterday, and we'll look at the stocks in a minute. We're still waiting to see if we activate this downside target. The futures today are up about 0.25%. The Nasdaq future up about 0.33%. So not yet is the key point there. And if we look at the 60-minute chart, we can see it's just slightly pushing towards the upside. So FTSE has had a good start to the year. This is the FTSE future up 7% so far this year versus the US market slightly down. So we're really outperforming there. Looking at the short-term chart, these targets given on the 4th of February, another one given on the 11th of February, in the ballpark there. So that's looking pretty strong as well. Japan, we're seeing here on the 60-minute chart, meeting those targets, a little downside target, risk of lower high, lower low building there, but not yet showing through. And if we look at the daily chart, you can see that target was really key met. China's still closed for Chinese New Year. And if we look at Oz, it's just on the edge of making a new high, waiting to see if we activate that upside target. So that's quite key as well. The energy mix looking very strong this morning. We put our report out to clients. Crude oil, Brent crude back above $70. These 1-minute charts are what energy traders use using Updata. And as I say, I put out a morning call report every morning on that. So we are seeing a dramatic reversal there in price on gas prices, and crude oil looking higher. So the energy mix looking stronger. Cocoa, that has been testing multi-year lows. These levels set way back. If we look at the weekly chart, they're set way back in 2023, and those are the levels we're testing at the moment. Downside targets, that one was given at 7,500 in August, and that was met the day before yesterday. We look at the 60-minute chart, we've got one level left there that we're just testing, so that's really quite key. Sugar's had a bit of a bounce, that's up 2%, and it's activated a new upside target. So only dipped below that 14 level, and we're back above 14. 14 was a critical level for sugar, and if we look at the daily chart, we can see here how we're really testing that level. But the fact we've broken it is long-term bearish or medium-term bearish. We're below the cloud, so still a big question there. Gold, This is a really interesting one. You have to look at the 60-minute chart to work out what's going on. 5,100 is the level. We're back above 5,000 this morning, so that's quite good. And silver had a better day yesterday. Mini upside targets. If you're trading these things, you want to be looking at the 1-minute targets. That's going to be quite key. Looking at the US bellwethers, just the tech majors, Apple looking stronger there on the short term. That's a medium term chart for Apple. A bit of a mixed picture, waiting to see which target activates. Amazon also up 1.8% yesterday, but still looking like it's fallen out of bed there. So that's quite key. Alphabet has been the really strong one of late, and then Microsoft also just looking weak still, having passed that downside target. All eyes on Nvidia. Are we going to break above 195 or below 170? That's the really big question for Nvidia, and many people know that I watch that stock quite closely because I think it's a big sentiment chase for the market. We saw a mixed picture in the Dow yesterday, mostly green, and if we look at the Nasdaq, we saw here again quite a strong showing in the market, and really only a handful of stocks, maybe 20, so less than 20% of Nasdaq stocks were down yesterday. And then if we look last of all at the FTSE 100, quite a bit of red on the screen this morning. We saw the FTSE pulling back. And if we look at just some BAE Systems was out yesterday with results that were strong. Can we break that resistance level? That's the really key thing, but it is still a bullish chart above the cloud, upside target passed. Basically looking for the performance. We're seeing today the underperformers are having a bit of a revaluation. So Relx, looking at all these stocks that have fallen. This one is Diploma. That's not looking so bad, but we do see here just a lot of the performers today. That's Beasley's Halma. That's looking better, breaking to new highs. Scottish Mortgage, that's looking okay with an upside target. Sage, these are the technology plays. They have been weaker. So Experian, another one that's been weak. It's quite interesting that we see companies like Autotrader. These have all sort of been given a tech, bent, if you like, and upside target there, and then downside targets below the cloud. So you've just really got to watch those. And then if we look at the downside, we're seeing that miners that have had a very strong showing are the worst performers today, Rio, Antofagasta. And of course, you can do this on any chart you like. So you can just literally go, grab the chart, and it will put you just hit the T key and it puts the targets on straight away. You can do that on TradingView or on Bloomberg as well, of course. Anyway, that's it for today. Until tomorrow, have a great day. Watch those targets. Bye for now.